This is something we gotta deal with. Yeah, no, there comes an there comes an advantage of writing everything in notepads just because it's really fast, it's easy, I don't gotta think about it too much. The problem is that I write it all in notepad, therefore, one bad hit and I just delete everything. Many such cases. Many such cases. But let's see, so flying high. Flying high, playing the Project Sidewinder. Okay. So Project Sidewinder is played with 5 coming in. Hello. Now, mind you, I can see the audio input. My audio input is being weird for some reason. Being very quiet, like it's not picking up everything. So I'm gonna need. Let's go on a magic adventure, everyone, and try to fix the audio. For context, I've been having some like pretty bad issues with my audio recently. I don't know what's going on. It's working too hot in that regard. So let's just quick check on. No. Okay, so hopefully that works a little bit better. Let's just lower the gate. Gonna be me and Luca ERPing again. Yeah, no, that happens a little bit more than it really should. Not gonna lie. Okay, what are we looking at? So Project Sidewinder is played with 3-2. Let's see, 3 to 5. It's played with 3 to 5 players. A mission control, MC. Organize and run the game. Project Sidewinder is played with 3 to 5 players and mission control who will organize and run the game. And actually, a handful of unique tokens. Unique tokens, coins, poker chips. Let's see, coins, poker chips, etc. Control, organize, run the game. A handful of unique tokens, coins, poker chips. As actually, and a desire to enter the danger zone. Enter the danger zone of mercenary air pilots. There we go. How do I want to word this? How do I want to word this? How do I want to word this? So, yeah, when a pilot attempts, actually, we'll do 3 to 5 pilots. Mission control will organize, run the game, and a handful of unique tokens, and desire to enter the danger zone. Mercenary air pilot. When a pilot attempts an action. They will need to pay the cost. Often this is in the form of various tokens. tokens derived from their attributes, skills, or plain handling, or plain attributes. I guess that's what you would call it. They will need to pay the cost. Often this is in the form of various tokens derived from the attribute skills or plain attributes. When the payment is, when it is paid, and the pilot will, when it is paid, then the pilot will perform the action unless it's blocked by another paying the cost. A pilot may always how do I want to word this? Okay, pilot may always fail. May always pull out of a check. Maybe always pull out of a check. May always pull out of a check to conserve tokens. I'm gonna have to give them a special name or something. A pilot may always pull out to check to conserve tokens, but will suffer the consequences of failure. That's pretty much it. Congratulations, I've summarized you the entire game. Pay a cost, do a thing. Let's suffer the consequences of failure. Actually, what we'll do this. Let's see, having around 6 separate sets of these tokens is ideal, even if as they will consistently be used. There we go. Flying high, pay the cost. Let's see, is there anything else that I really need to add in this diceless system? Because the entire concept, at its very core, is... Grab my dice over here. Let's say, for example, you need to make a check. Something is happening, and you need to make a check. You want to shoot somebody. What you're going to be doing is effectively, you're going to spend the initial token saying, I'm going to fire my cannon at them. Because you're going to fire your cannons at them, you want to make sure it's going to be fine. So you might have an attack rating of like 2 or something. You can bet more offense tokens that you have to that to make it harder to dodge. If I bet 2, my base 2 plus 2 is 4. The opponent, on the other hand, has to bet 4 defense tokens to try to pretty much try to dodge it. So the idea being that you are doing all this by spending more, but once it's spent, you're not really going to get it back. So it's kind of a push and pull. It's an economy. The more you spend, the more you get. The more you spend, the less you have. So you don't want to overspend because you might not have enough to actually do anything. Which is bad. Because you're going to die. Let's see, is there anything right off the bat that needs... Merb. Yeah. I really don't think there is actually much else, because again, it's very much just pay the tokens and be done with it. Actually, pilot and aircraft scale. There will be times when the pilots are on the ground. on the, let's see, there'll be times when pilots are on the ground without their plane. Obviously during this time, the pilots cannot drive. Let's see. Obviously, during this time, the pilots cannot derive tokens from their plane attributes. This isn't something big, but it's something important. Most checks, actually no, most checks during the pilot phase. Actually, most checks during pilot scale encounters. Most checks during on-foot encounters will either be resolved automatically, or require a small expenditure of tokens. There we go. Just put that in there, kind of like a, yeah, this is what you're gonna have to do. Because if you don't put it in there, someone's gonna ask. And when someone asks, things get complicated. Most checks during on-foot encounter will either be resolved automatically, all pilots with offensive 3 are successful, or require a small expenditure of tokens. Must spend one offensive token, one defensive token, one defensive token to mitigate the damage. There we go. Not the most complicated in the world, but doesn't need to be complicated, because we're diceless. Yeah, so that's fine there. Next we get to worry about this. So okay, so one thing we're going to do. Actually, what we're going to do that. We're going to insert table of contents. I said insert table of contents, not... Okay. Insert table of contents. Please, God, click correctly. There we go. So, put it right there. What needs to be done? So let's just plan out things, okay? Let's just plan out the future. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to do pilot creation. Pilot creation is going to involve attributes, skills. We're going to call it techniques for now. I don't really know what else I want to do with those, but techniques are going to be things you can do in the plane. And probably from there, that's going to be it. Pilots aren't really going to be that... You're skilled, but not actually, no. Relationships are going to be important. We can probably do... Actually, what we can do first is... Mercenary company creation. Which is going to be... Origin, funding, and what would be another good one? I want to be a mercenary company. What do I need? What do I need in a mercenary company? Origin, funding, support, and support. So there we go. Origin, funding, and support. That should be good. Because the idea being that your mercenary company is going to tell you where you're from. What are you actually? Are you soldiers of fortune? Are you just free pilots? What? Funding is going to be like pretty much how much starting money do you have, and why do you have it? Are you a private company? Yeah, specialties, that could be actually a big one. Probably specialties would go. Specialties. Slogans will go obviously in there, but that's kind of more. You can put that right at the end. We can put like details right here. So it's kind of more along the lines of who you are, where do you get your money, your initial funding, I should say. What are you actually good at? Like, why are you here? Are you, close defense? Are you this or this? We can probably give those like, quote, free techniques. Free techniques plus pilot attributes. Support is going to be pretty much, other characters. Hey, everybody, we're a private fucking army. Like, literally, that our entire idea is that we are a private army and we have, like, ground forces. Or, hey, we're kind of a smaller one and we have, like, radio operators. It's kind of like that. That's kind of the idea behind support, is more along the lines of other people who are supporting you. That may not be direct combatants, but are still very helpful. Details are kind of like the fluff stuff. Like, where are you guys from? Who are you guys, dictating from and all that kind of stuff. Origins is going to be where the company is from. Is from /Y. Funding, where does the money come from? Obviously, you're mercenaries, but are you a private mercenary firm? Are you a kind of just literally are you a PMC group more than anything? Like, are you part of part of a larger military? Things like that. Where if your funding primarily comes from the fact that you are literally just free flyers and you just go to wherever the war comes, you're not going to have that much money to start with. But you are a lot more open to where you are going. While a PMC, on the other hand, you start with a lot more money. You have the problem of having a board of directors that you have a budget. You're a company. Slightly different, but very, we'll just put details, which would be the fun stuff. Attributes. Attribute-wise, I broke it down into these. So your attributes are going to be technique, aggression, defensive, and brains. These names are very subject to change. Skills are pretty much just going to be, open-ended with the idea being that you can draw upon a skill and get a free token. Hey everybody, I'm an electronics guy. I know how to fix electronics. I know how electronics work. What are they trying to do? Cool. Spend that token to do something. With a lot of the idea being like, if you have it, you can do it. Hey, I'm an expert shot. I know I'm really good with shooting. You can spend that token anytime you're aiming your guns. You may be able to use your aggression on other things, however, you can always use it right there. It's not much, but it's just something to separate pilots out. Techniques are going to be special maneuvers, abilities, things like a barrel roll. Barrel rolls are actually miraculously complex. Here's the thing. People think of barrel roll as like, oh, do a barrel roll. Ha 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 ha. Super simple. No. No, it's not that. Not at all. Not fucking at all. Let me see. Where's the actual, yeah, this is the technicals of a barrel roll. This is a displacement roll. The entire idea is that you want to put yourself in an advantageous situation. So if the defender is going for a loop, the attacker would go up there, spin around, put themselves behind the person they want to target. That is what a barrel roll is, by sheer technicality. We're not going to be doing that. Techniques are going to be things like pulling off a Pugachev's Cobra, as well as like barrel rolling, which is going to be more like moving to the side, like very dramatically in that way. Because jet fighting is incredibly detailed. Now, relationships are going to be, let's see. Simple relationship with other pilots. The melodrama comes from here. Now, this was actually a suggestion from Manly Salmon, and this was a very good idea. Now, one of the ideas being that if you are close to somebody, you should get a bonus, or you should get a penalty to it. Now, what I thought about doing is this. So, it's something like, for example, Maverick is rivals with Iceman. We know this. Maverick is rivals with Iceman. If Maverick is close to Iceman, he gets +1 aggression. He's getting more aggression tokens if he is close to Iceman. So you're, as kind of a squad, you're kind of always trying to get close to people you want to be friends with or close. That the problem being that being close together is not always the best thing. Because being very close together sometimes has the drawback of you're both now in threat range. If someone gets behind you, they can shove a missile up both your asses. That's kind of one of the big ideas. However, if you're close to each other, you're going to get bonuses. So it's kind of that you end your turn next to people you want, but then you split off, and so you have you have a little bit extra to work with. If you're friends with somebody, you're going to get this. If you're enemies with somebody, you're going to get this. If you have a weird love affair with this person, you're going to get these things. That's kind of the basic concept. That should bring out some of the drama because you want to maintain those relationships. Now, doing that's going to be the hard part. So, let's see. So, Kadoki. So, we've got pilot character creation. Actually, we need to... So far, I've been putting chutzpah as the word. Chutzpah is actually a Yiddish word. And all it effectively means is bullshit. Raw bullshit. And by raw bullshit, it is your ability as a person to try to just throw your hands up and say, look how, it's the audacity. It's a combination of like audacity, luck, and bullshit. And one of the examples you see quite a bit is a man is accused of killing killing his parents. And he's on, a man is put on trial for killing both of his parents. He throws himself before the court and claims innocence because he's now an orphan. And claims he's now to go light on him because he's now an orphan. The sheer audacity of saying, go light on me because I'm an orphan. It's like, this is insane. But it's kind of that raw luck. I don't really know what else to call it, though. Because what I want it to be is this is a combination of raw reflex, just raw skill, luck, ability, as well as kind of just the protagonist privilege, you could say. Because you are the protagonist, because you are the players, you get this. And this is your health slash Benny bar. Because you can use your health. This is kind of the idea for it. You can use your health to do something. I want to spend a little bit of my health, just a little bit, so I can pull off this stunt. I want to spend a little bit of my health to do this. Anytime you take damage, you're reducing the maximum health. So, for example, if you take 4 damage, you get fucking strafed real bad. You're going to be reducing your maximum chutzpah or maximum, whatever the fuck I call it, by that amount. Which doesn't seem very serious, but all planes effectively are going to have four phases of health. You're undamaged, you're lightly damaged, you're critically damaged, you're slag in the air. You effectively only have about 2 health to work with. After you take 2 damage, you're kind of at a critical state, and things are going bad. Like, you are definitely not fighting at full anything. Hence why missiles are so dangerous, because they could bring you down from I'm fine to critical and you're going down. And if you're already slightly damaged, getting hit by a missile may just detonate you and you're just dead. There's no hope. Which is one of the problems with jets, because of how dangerous they are. So, okay, so pilot creation. From there, we'll probably have to do planes. Yeah, we can probably do planes and details, and we'll probably do... Let's see, we'll do light, medium, heavy, and specialty fighter. These are kind of the basic kind of classes I was thinking about. Light fighters go fast, don't have much armor, so that's kind of... It's harder for them to defend against blows, but they're not really supposed to be doing that. Those are your fragile speedsters. Heavies are a lot slower, but they're kind of harder to damage outright. Mediums are obviously in the middle. Specialties are usually ones with a gimmick. You have a rail cannon attached to your fucking ship, your plane. Have fun. Hey, you have... you're a radar boat, effectively. Like, you are pathetically slow, have 0 armor, 0 guns, but everybody around you is considered to have a radar lock, therefore can target and destroy you, and destroy them. It's a lot easier. But the problem being, like, you have to be a very good flyer, because you're making everybody's life easier. Okay, so... Origins, pilot creation, pilot and sea. Let's do that. Planes and details. Then we move down to the combat section, which is going to be... We'll do standard combat, pilot combat. Kind of like, if you're on the ground, there's going to be a little bit different rules. And then we're going to call it the... We're going to call it the narrative combat system. Kind of like this isn't really a real fight, this is just you versus something, like how that's going to work. From there, we're going to put in the mercenary contracts. There we go. And most likely what I will do in between things is I'm going to put the lore section. So this is kind of the plan for the game right now. I should do these more often, because it kind of gives me like a good idea of like what needs to be done kind of thing. But sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. So let's worry about pilots right now, because pilots I think are going to be the easy part. Once pilots are done, the mercenary company creation is going to be pretty simple to do, because you kind of got what this is, and then you're going to get the techniques, because that's going to inform your techniques as well as pilot attributes. Somebody added me. Stop it. Okay. Let's see, pilot recruitment. Now, here's the thing. I did decide, I did make the executive decision, we're going strange reel. Now, the problem is, there's 2 things I can do. Option A is we use the base strange reel setting that I've kind of made. Which we have to deal with the modern Austrasian Air Force and company. Alternatively, I can employ a little bit of a a different setting entirely. I don't know yet. I have a few ideas. Kind of is depending on how I'm feeling. But why does people keep contacting me? Go away. Go away. So, pilot recruitment. But for right now, what I'm going to say is just actually, I do know with the signing of the Treaty of with the signing of the Treaty of Trenton, most of the world's militaries have been drastically reduced in most of the actually world's standing military forces have been significantly reduced in size. However, as an unintended consequence, private military companies have been established to fill the void. As a mercenary air pilot, the pilot is a heavily trained and detailed individual who has a host of skills, flying in dangerous locations, and being an accomplished flyer. Flying in dangerous locations and surviving. The current roster, that's like the basic, that's like the one requirement of the lore so far is there's going to be the Treaty of Trenton, which is pretty much going to say, hey, the world's militaries are kind of been reduced down in size. However, you can just be a mercenary, because mercenaries are cool. Mercenary fiction, yay! See, everybody likes mercenaries, because they always sound cool. Nobody ever wants to be a mercenary, though. That's where things get... That's where things get a little bit wonky. People die as mercenaries. Remember that, kids. So let's see. This mercenary, the pilot, is heavily trained and detailed individual, hosts skills flying in dangerous locations and surviving. When joining the mercenary company, the pilot has at least a little experience flying formally, and when joining the mercenary company, the pilot has at least a little experience flying, or at least has convinced everybody that they are. Actually, now how do I want to do this? The mercenary pilot is heavily trained and detailed individuals. Actually. Joining the mercenary company, the pilot has been selected to be one of backbones of the squadron. Actually, it would be it's squadron. Wait, it would be This is where naming conventions get a little bit fucky-wucky. So it would be a flight, not a squadron. A squadron is 12 to 24 aircraft. So it'd be a flight. Okay. So, backbones of, has been selected as backbones of one of the backbones of their squadron. Specifically, a flight. Specifically, a flight. A flight of around 3 to 4. Around 3 to 4. Actually, 3 to 5. Guess what? Why? Because that's the number of players. You're going to be a flight in a squadron. So you might be... See, that's like one of those things, because usually when people say squadron or like a squad, they have like a very certain idea of what it means. But like in formal terms, there's a lot of different words for it, and it's a mess. So, when joining the Mercenary Company, the pilot has been selected as one of the backbones of their squadron, specifically a flight of around 3 to 5. They are the pilot will designate a set of their attributes. Actually, the pilot's attributes reflect both their personal. Actually, no. Let's see. The pilot's attributes reflect both their personality as well as their aviation skills. Actually, their aviation talent. In or out of the plane. In or out of the plane, the pilot is a force to be reckoned with. Let's say force to be reckoned with is okay. So next we have to describe. You got to understand who the pilots are. We've established who the pilots are, why they do the way they do. And we understand, like, these guys are way more confident than they really should be. So next we go. Now, I cut chutzpah, so everyone's going to have effectively 4 attributes. I debated on trying to, like, fit a 5th one in there. It just did not... It did not work. It was just not working. So, our base attributes are going to be aggression, defensive, brains, defensive, and technique. If you can't quite tell where things are going, I hate to break it to you. So, aggression. So, we paste those right there. Now, how do I want to do this? Actually, since these are so important, I'm going to increase the size up to, let's say, 15. Then we do this. So aggression reflects the pilot's aggression reflects the pilot's raw ability, aggression, and passionate soul. Not only will aggression play an important part in gunning down rival pilots, rivals in the air. Aggression it also acts as a raw force of personnel of charismatic intent. Pilot's raw aggression, passionate soul. Not only will let's play a part in gunning down rivals in the air, but also acts a raw force of charismatic intent for while being on the ground. Let's see, pilots with high aggression are daring. How do I want to do this? Pilots with high aggression are who dive headfirst into the fray, and are often the last to leave. And there we go, and often the last to leave. We give a basic understanding of what these are. So that moves on to our brain. Is a mixture of the pilot's intelligence and situational awareness. Well, not every. Let's see. Well, not every pilot. Actually. Brains play an important part managing their aircraft systems and understanding nuances of doing what it wants. Actually, brains plays an important part in managing their aircraft systems and understanding the nuances of using the aircraft and using it to its largest effect. There we go. Pilots with high brain are smart, perceptive, and maybe a bit too aloof. Why? Because you're smart. You're a smart boy who do smart boy things for smart reasons, because you're a very smart person. That's why I say, like, the names aren't perfect, because the names are built for purpose. You need to have the names, because if you don't have the names, things are going to get wonky. So, what am I looking at? What am I looking at? What am I looking at? Ow. Okay, so defensive. Is the pilot's protective streak. Streak of both themselves and their allies. Defensive is a fundamental part of the air war. Mostly surviving the battle by avoiding enemy fire and dodging incoming missiles. Pilots with high defensive, not only caution in the air, but tend to be slow, deliberate, and how do we want to word this? Not caution and the selective on the ground. There we go. Kind of the idea being, like, if you're really aggressive, you're really passionate. If your brains are really smart, defensive, that means you're kind of quiet. And technique is pretty much how good of a fucking pilot you are. Not necessarily anything else, just how good of a top pilot you are. Technique is to maneuver maneuver in the air. Pull off the stunts required to earn their wings. Technique plays technique is a integral part of the technique is an integral part of air combat. as it allows the pilot to get behind and attack enemies while keeping themselves safe. Pilots with high technique. Hello. Hello, phone. What do you want to tell me? I have a feeling I'm going to get a phone call here soon. Well, no shit. Let me answer this real fast. Alright. Pilots high technique are not only skilled in the air, but tend to be a bit cocky. They'll be a bit cocky on the ground. For example, Maverick is high aggression, high technique. That's one of the big things. However, his second, his WSO, I believe that would be the proper term. Someone like Goose would be high brains, high defensive. They're both very passionate and they can be very good with each other. It's just the ideas of like, how do they act with each other normally? Well, not everyone is always written in stone. Okay, so what we want to do is, a pilot. Actually, no. What we can do is, I think we put this on the second page. A pilot will, how do I want to word this? Not a pilot will, actually, a pilot will distribute, let's see, there's 4, let's think, there are 4 points, so let's say there's 4 attributes, we want the average to be about 3, so that would be 12, we can probably make it, 12 straight out. No, we make it 10 straight out, so you don't have 3 in everything. So you're always going to have 1 or 2 that maybe aren't the best. So, alright. Because you want everything. So a pilot will distribute 10 point. Let's see, pilot will distribute 10 points among all, among their Mogus. Let's say a pilot will distribute 10 points among their attributes. Reflecting their innate abilities and skill. Their innate talents. Pilots will slowly develop new talents. Will slowly develop new attributes. As they advance through campaigns and jobs. At pilot recruitment, a single pilot may not have any more than a 5 in any attribute. May not actually. We do this. A pilot recruitment, pilot may more than 5 any attribute. Pilots will slowly develop new attributes as they advance to the campaigns and jobs. Able to increase the total amount of their attributes up to a maximum of 10. Which, like, 10, that doesn't seem like... That is 10 tokens to fuck around with, which is quite a few tokens to fuck around with. You have a lot of move. Like, that's just a lot of stuff to work with, which some people are going to be like, wow, that's a lot. Other people are going to be like, wow, that's too much. They're like, yeah, so that's why I'm keeping it kind of low, initially. 10 points among the reflecting their innate talents. At pilot recruitment, a pilot may not have any more than 5 in any attribute. It is encouraged a pilot have at least a single point. Have at least one in every attribute. But this is not required. There we go. It's not required, but it's heavily encouraged. Just so you have it more than anything, because if you don't have it, you're not going to have fun. So actually, if we zoom out to this, so it looks like this, and oh god, that's a weird. Actually, if do I put this on the second page? Because if I put this on the second page, we do that, distribute 10 points, then we do this. So it's kind of like that, a little bit more split up, but we have a little bit more room to work with down here, or we keep it like this, where we fill up an entire page here, but we have a big area down here. I think what we're going to do, though, is we're going to make a sample character. So we're going to do a sample character, so we're going to do a sample pilot. Let's give a random Hungarian name. Just because Hungary's here. We're Jonas Joseph. There we go. Jonas Joseph. Actually, if I want to be incredibly specific, we do Google Translate Hungarian. We do example letter. Yeah. We do a God, what would this be? Jonas? No, it wouldn't be Jonas. It would be Jonas. I don't speak Hungarian if you haven't noticed. But yeah, sample pilot is going to be Jonas Vlada. Jonas. Let's see. Jonas has recently joined the. We need an appropriate mercenary sounding name. Has listened to join the Black Watch group. In their air squadron. In their air squadron. Starting out, Jonas will have to distribute a number of attribute points among his various attributes. Among his various among his number. There we go. And then we go here. We see our basic one. So let's make Jonas a little bit smart. So he's going to have aggression. It's going to be aggression, brains, defensive, and technique. He's going to have, let's see, he's 10 points, 1, 1, 1, 1, so that's 4. Let's bump his brains up to 4, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. 7, okay, so there we go, it's 10. So Jonas is not the most aggressive pilot, but he has a keen eye and a knack for difficult stunts in the air. He'll need to develop his skills to reach the allotted title of ace. Because again, there's like one of the big things too is like, you may say, why don't you just dump everything in aggression? Why don't you just be really aggressive? Because if your aggression can't really be used in other places. Like, that's kind of the idea, being like, oh, well, yeah, the second you are able to attack someone, they're going to get fucked up. The problem is, they're going to be able to outmaneuver you. And when they outmaneuver you, they're going to be able to shove something. They're going to be able to shove an air to air, where it shouldn't go. So it's kind of a back and forth. That's kind of what I wanted to get across. There we go. Who does that? Mercenary air pilot. There we go. Technically, what I could do is something like this. The Black Watch group. We do that. Justify the text. Keep you like that. Maybe not the prettiest thing in the world, but doesn't really need to be pretty. So we have our basic pilot, what he looks like, which is good. Again, I'm most likely going to change some of the names, but probably slap an image right there, slap an image right there, and yeah, that's pilots. Like, actually, no, that reminds me. Actually. What I can do is we're going to kind of get 2 down. We're going to type in attributes right here. And then we're going to do heading 2. Ooh, you just cut off right at the weird point. Oh, God. Okay. Actually, I can cut you. Get you where you need to go. Select that, so we have attributes right here. Actually, I should say is pilot attributes. Probably going to change that to talents. I'll have to think on that. So next we're going to do pilot skills. Skills reflect a pilot's ability to perform particular. Actually, the pilot's ability in certain fields. Some skills fall into many different categories. Many different categories in life, but generally speaking, there are four major categories to choose skills from. From pilot skill, actually no, we do this. Pilot skills are what's a good synonym for skills? Synonym for skills. Okay. Capability in the air. Our capability in the air as an actual pilot. Not necessarily as an actual aviator. Not all the pilot skills are about shooting enemies or dodging missiles. Most are about weather conditions. Most are about about managing conditions, learning about maintenance, and navigating at sonic speeds. Because Sonic, you like Sonic, don't you? Which I've come to the conclusion, there are more than one Sonic RPG out there, which kind of baffles me. Like, the fact that there's more than one translation office, it's always, like, not translation office, more than one Sonic RPG out there is kind of a weird thing. Like, it's Sonic. Like, when I think, like, yeah, let's do some tabletop role-playing experiences, it's not like, yeah, let's eat chili dog. No, anytime I hear the word Sonic OC, horrifying things come to my mind, and then there's Tails on a fucking bench. Every time. Every single time. I don't get it. I don't know why. But I guess that can kind of fall into a lot of games, which is like, here's a franchise game. And it's like, oh goodness. Franchises, like, well, you don't. True. I mean, maybe I'm just not the target audience for Sonic games. Like, I'm always fascinated how do you translate it too, because I'm like, are you going with the comics? Are you going with the games? I would say Sonic is kind of like Wakfu in that regard, because not a single human being. Well, actually, everybody wants a Wakfu game. So many fucking people want Wakfu. It's nuts. Every single time, like, I want to play a Wakfu game. I want to play a Wakfu game. One, they're usually just because they want to fuck the main character girls. That's what they want to do. They just want to fuck those girls. On the other hand, what I notice a lot, this is the one thing I notice a lot with, is nobody can decide what they want and what they're basing it off of. I think that's the thing with Sonic games too. Is like, what do you base it off of? Because yeah, the platformer TTRPG, actually, I know for a fact. Yeah, this is an Ace Combat game. Fuck you. Mario RPG, is that it? I mean, this is the Super Mario RPG. And I do know for a fact somebody else is working on a bigger one. And they're like, oh, we want to do that. Like, we want to have more stuff there. Or we want to do, like, a platformer. I don't get that. Like, I go for some weird games. Don't get me wrong. I make some weird shit. But I'm not like... I don't know, like, how you would do it. But I guess, like, Zombie Line proved at least you could try to do a base defense RPG. I don't like the idea of, like, Zombie Line seems like a fun board game that they just slap TTRPG on it, though. But, like, what would a platformer RPG look like? You know what? Fuck it. Let's do a little bit of a googling, shall we? Platformer TTRPG. That's what I want. Platformer TTRPG. Phelan's it's like RPG elements. RPG elements. Platformer RPG TG. Like, maybe that'll pop up. Like, these just aren't popping up. Like, it's just not working. Maybe we have to go to the TG archive. Oh, Star Trek General. Did somebody fucking... I forgot. Someone actually recommended Visgoth and Molgoths. Unironically, which I'm like, go fuck yourself. There we go. Okay. This is from last year. Let's see. Turn-based platformers. Doesn't pause buffering. Let's see. So we asked before. The fuck? What in the goddamn Genshin Impact? Wow. Wow, do you like the Genshin Impact game? There's a curse thing for you. All I'm saying is, Genshin Impact team, I'm your man. Hire me right now. I will make you Genshin Impact the tabletop role-playing game experience. Come on. Come on, I'll do it. No cap. You won't pay me. You're a coward. You won't pay me. Please pay me. I'll do anything. See, the thing is, I don't think people quite realize that I will literally do anything for money. Like, I will do most things. This is from last year. This is nothing. Yeah, this is nothing. It's a fucking jump chain. Ugh. 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 Yeah. Yeah, platformer RPG. I don't know how you would even do that. I genuinely don't. So actually, pilot skills are about shooting enemies, dodging missiles. They're about managing conditions, learning maintenance, and navigating at sonic speed. We'll say... How do I want to word this? Because how I'm going to break down the skills is that we're going to have, like, pilot skills, which are, like, aviator skills. Like, quote, personal skills, which are everyday life skills. Actually, we'll do soldier skills, which is going to be, like, combat operations, etc. What would the, trying to think of what another, I can see it in my head, because the idea behind personal skills is that they're things that may not necessarily, they're just parts of you that are you. Hey, this guy is really damn good at, actually, I can put in people skills. Like, this guy is just really good at chess. It's completely fucking useless, but it's the idea that, like, this is a character who is very skilled at doing a particular thing, and that particular thing is covered under personal skills. Because what I want to do is I want the characters to take a number of skills, kind of depending on whatever the fuck they want. These aren't necessarily useful immediately, because that's kind of the point. These are to flesh out the person that have a mechanical benefit of allowing you to do things. If you don't have a skill, usually you're going to have to spend tokens. If you do have a skill, you can just ignore it. So personal skills, actually we'll do not human skills, personal skills, domestic skills. That doesn't sound right. No, we'll go with domestic skills. I think that should domestic skills. So actually, it's sonic speeds, soldier skills. Skills reflect the pilot's ability to. Actually, the pilot's information about soldiering, firefights, military command, and various aspects of the grind of military life. People skills reflect. People skills are the pilots. Associations, and raw charismatic ability among people. Whether it's soldiers, starlets, or simply business. Finally, domestic skills are everything else. from, actually, no, we're going to call it knowledge skills. I think knowledge kind of works. Knowledge skills are everything else, which encapsulates information or knowledge the pilot has. The pilot knows about. At pilot recruitment, the pilot will choose one skill from each category. Let's see. At pilot recruitment, the pilot will choose one skill from each category, and then choose 2 skills actually 2 skills with whatever they wish. What do skills do though? Skills are the ability for the pilot to perform actions without spending tokens or gaining extra tokens in extreme situations. If the pilot does not have a skill, they may not know or require spending their own tokens to succeed. Skills are these are a reflection of the pilot as a person. Not just a flyboy behind the controls, but a human being with connections, problems, and odd bits of trivia. Okay, we do this. Odd bits of trivia. So we do this. We take our sample pilot. Okay. He selects you. Jonas now has to choose his skills. Thinking with his attributes in mind, the player opts to make Jonas far more technical in his approach to life. So he's going to choose, let's see, pilot skills. He's going to choose aircraft maintenance. He is going to be engineering. Let's see, his people skill. He's going to be academic with his people skills. And he is going to, let's see, his knowledge skills, which is he's going to be I'm getting a phone call. Give me one moment. Hello, I'm back. I am alive. Welcome to that 15-minute break as my mom called, and I needed to take that phone because she's not been having a good week. She's not been having a good week. For many reasons. But let's see, where was I? Okay, so mechanic is going to be his knowledge skill because he's just like a raw. Actually, what we can do is we can just make him a vehicle mechanic. He's got 2 skills to distribute wherever he wants. We can probably do people skill wise. We can make him a grease monkey. And pilot, we'll make him pilot. Actually, let's see, vehicle mechanic and what would be another good skill? Just kind of like chosen skill, being like, yeah, he's this mechanic guy. He's very knowledgeable. He's pretty damn good at what he does. And we'll make him and we'll make it technical minded. There we go. Far more technical approach to his life. That. Jonas. So I forgot you have to do this when it comes to making any indents. It will extend you out all the way. No, we won't do that. So Jonas is a mechanic through and through. Someone who is a bit quiet, a bit odd, and has a good relationship with others who share his passion for the technical side of things. He's there we go. Yeah, we've established who this guy is now. I think that's fairly important. You got to establish a character, and it also has not as like heavy-handed mechanics. It's just kind of like you're allowed to do something. If you have it, you can do it. Which I always feel to be a fairly important aspect of things. So, generally speaking, we've got these techniques. I'm going to okay. I want to write out the Chutzpah mechanic, but I don't know what do I even call that. Actually, combination of luck and skill. Actually, a term for combination of luck and skill. Let's see. Gilkey pulled off a fine save and pulled fine performance. Combination of skill and luck. What is the word before that? What's a good word? What's a good word for this? What's a good word? I have people in question time. I may as well ask. What's a good word for a combination of luck and skill? There we go. What's a good word for combination of luck and skill? Because that's the entirety of what the chutzpah mechanic is. It is a combination of, so like we'll do chutzpah and survival. All characters, see, all pilots have a panache talent, finesse, tough shit. Flamboyance, confidence. Come on, give me. I know you guys. Come on, give me some words here. Give me some words. Smart luck. That's fuck off, Varric. God fucking damn it. Leaning toward finesse. Finesse would be a good one if it wasn't literally just going to be technique in that regard. Fuck. It's a weird word. It's a weird, I guess, panache.
Panache.
Yeah, panache. I guess that would be panache. Panache and survival. All pilots have a panache, which reflects a combination of raw luck and talent required to not die an explosive death. Panache can be spent like any other token. Let's see, panache can be spent like any other token, with the advantage of being able to be subbed out, which being able to be used in place of any token. Used in place in any token. The catch is simple. Panache doubles as the shield. Doubles as the first line of defense for the pilot. Panache doubles as the first line of defense for the pilot. Should they be hit when an attack successfully lands, the pilot will first reduce their total panache by the damage of the weapon. If the current panache value falls to 0, then the damage is instead dealt directly, to the plane, as explained in the combat section. Which I'll make an image most likely with the idea of like how to explain it. Should a pilot ever hit panache 0, should a pilot ever reach 0 total panache, they will no longer be allowed to use it. Use it in checks, and it will always be designated to And all damage will go straight to health. Straight to the plane's damage. Plane's durability. Oh, so it's like the Force. Rename to Faith and turn this game to something I'll play at church. Yeah, that's kind of like, they're kind of opposite words, but that's kind of the point. Like, it is like raw luck, but also complete talent. Because how I see this playing out, and this was what was in that original fucking notepad document that died tragically. Is, let's say we have a panache of 5. How it would be written is 5-5-5, which is going to be the current total. Actually, it'd be the current max, and then how did I end up writing it? Because pretty much like the idea being that you can spend panache to, for pretty much as a Benny. It's pretty much a meta currency you can spend on anything. If you make a check, you can spend your panache on it. But that's going to reduce your total health to a degree. You can spend it, and that's it. However, at the end of the turn, at the end of how turns are going to work, how I kind of did it in my head, is you're going to regenerate everything back up to your max. You're going to get everything back. Yes, I said bennies, because bennies work. You're going to restore it back up. However, if you take damage, let's say I take 3 damage, what would happen is that you would reduce the total by it. So you would have 2 out of 2 panache still left. You've kind of burnt that luck to do something. However, let's say you spend that 2 panache, and you have now, let's say you would have technically something like this. And you'd have something like this. You would take damage. You just take the damage now. You would take kind of the excess damage, and yeah, you're exposed because your luck's run out. You've burnt too much luck, and now you're taking damage. So it's kind of that management to a degree of how much of this benefit, how much of this luck, faith, technique, skill, like raw reflexes, kind of this automatic, feeling, how much can you spend that in exchange for, trying to survive? If you're in a very fast plane, you don't ever really want to be getting shot at. If you get shot at, it's probably because you're going to die. So maybe you just want to... So what would you rather do? Spend a little bit of panache and avoid getting attacked entirely, or take it on the chin and lose it permanently? No, you want to dodge. However, for heavier planes who can kind of take a little bit of damage naturally and isn't too fussed about it, maybe you're a little bit more encouraged to take that damage. Maybe you're a little bit better, a little bit more confident in it. Like, yeah, I can take 1 or 2 points of damage. I don't much care. I'm fine. Like, I have the defense. They're gonna have to burn a lot to damage me. Me, on the other, but I can burn this now to actually damage you. So if you have kind of like a 0 in something and you don't have any points, burn that luck. You're gonna get it back at the end of the round. But if you get damaged, well, you're not gonna get that anymore. That's kind of the idea. Like, you're kind of trading it. A little bit of A for a little bit of B. So let's see. Let's see, pilots over. Let's see, starting pilots. We'll do starting pilots begin with... Actually, I should say starting pilots begin with... We'll say 5 panache. I think that's a good amount. Because how I'm seeing it is that, like, the traditional missile, a traditional missile is going to do 3 damage. Cannons are going to do about 1. But like bigger things can obviously do like 6 damage, which is like you're just gonna take damage because fuck you. So it's kind of like if you're gonna be taking about 3 damage, you can take maybe like one missile. And the idea is this isn't you necessarily taking the damage. This is you narrowly dodging it to the point where you really should have died, but you have just barely got it scraped along the side. One move, 1 second earlier and you would have been toast, but you kind of burnt that luck. Starting pilots begin with 5 panache, but it will grow. But it will grow as the pilots grow in importance. But a pilot may also lose their. Should disaster strike. So again, it's kind of a Benny, and you're gonna be able to kind of trade it in for things if you like, I desperately need something. You can spend a little bit to kind of do that, or hey, you're completely out of supplies and you don't have anything left. You can always burn a little bit of panache to get something out of it. It's kind of like you're always going to be able to get something. Doubles first line defense, so they be a hit. Like, I think when I explain it a little bit more in that actually using checks straight to the plane's durability. Should panache reach 0 during pilot scale endeavors, the next piece of damage will most likely will down the pilot as they have suffered critical injuries. Wow, everybody, I've dodged a bullet there, and then you take another bullet. Like, you're on your ass. Like, getting shot is going to down you. That's the fun fact, everybody. Getting shot sucks. Another pro tip, pro tips from Notepad. Don't get shot. Let's see, is there anything else here? No. I think we got a lot done, but I have a strange feeling I'm gonna get another phone call. So I'm gonna call it there. What I'm gonna do most likely is set up things like the lore section. Probably get some like the basics here so we can wrap that up on Friday. And we're gonna start on the mercenary company creation on Friday. My goal is to try to get this game relatively wrapped up by next Friday. That's kind of my goal. So we're looking at a 1, 2, 3, about a 4, 5. We're looking at about 5 episodes if things go according to plan. This may seem like, wow, this is really simple. The problem is literally like if each section takes 1 day, like I think this is going to be the thing that's going to take a long time. This is going to take a long time. It's just like, yeah, I gotta set everything up, then you can kind of deliver. But I think we did quite a bit today. Like, it may not seem like a lot, but you need to get everything in place before it makes sense. You also should be on the right page, like right there. That means you should be on the right page. Yoink. Put that right there, heading 1. Playing the game. Cool. Cuckoo-ca-choo-choo. Alright, cool. Poggers. I'm going to head out. Godspeed. Good luck, and I will catch you all on the flip side. I'll see you most likely on Friday. And from there, we can see where the skies take us. A lot of little stuff to work on, though. A lot of little stuff. Alright, bye.